Anyway, I was talking about central margin, about listening. It's like when actors act, they're so worried about their own line that they forget what the other person is saying. And 99.9% of the possibility is that if the dialogue says, have you had food? And the answer would be yes or no. Have you had food? No, I haven't. No, I already eaten. Whatever it is. But I'm not listening to what that bloody person is saying. I'm like, I'm going to perfect this line. I'm going to give the best line ever, and I'm going to look smashing hot. Okay? And that's the reason why I'll screw up. Because only if this is the camera behind, over the shoulder of her, and I'm speaking to her, and if I actually listen to her, I'll be more believable. Because she's asking, have you eaten food? And my answer is completely dependent on the word food. See, the techniques that we learn here, we tell you how to actually do that. So basically, if I'm listening to the word food, which means, okay, that's my key word, right? So it's already in my head. So as soon as she says, have you had food? No, I've already had it. Or whatever it is. You are listening, but most actors are greedy. They will never listen. They'll be like, okay, I've already had my food, I've already had my food. So say, have you had your food?
Have you had your food?
Yeah, I've already had my food. It's like, hello, at least listen to her. And now the sound guy is going to go, like, nah, I want another one. And the director will be like, what went wrong? And he goes, well, they just overran each other's line. And the director doesn't want to piss off his actor, so he's like, oh, okay, we're doing it. And then he says, like, please, can you just let her finish, and then you say your line. And that is the truth. And so central margin is all about listening. We're going to do an exercise. Who has a problem? You two. Okay. Okay, everyone watch what's going to happen. Look at her eyes, in her eyes, sorry, and you're going to say, you have black hair. Okay. You're going to listen to it, and whatever she's saying, you're going to believe that because you do have black hair, right? So you're going to say, I have black hair. Okay. And you're going to keep doing it till I say stop. Okay? Okay, no, it's very simple, okay? So listen to her, what she's saying, and agree with her and say, I have black hair, and you saying, you have black hair. Okay, everyone quiet, let's go.
You have black hair.
I have black hair.
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 Thank you. Now, did anybody notice this? That with her reaction changing, her reaction will change. And then when she'd say her line, automatically her reaction would change. So if suddenly she became stern or serious, she would become serious. And when she was laughing, that automatically made her giggle in the next line. Which was what? It was magic because they were completely dependent on each other's listening. They were listening. They weren't doing anything else. They were listening to one another. She was stating a fact, right? She was saying you have black hair, and you were, but because you didn't care about anyone else. You were looking at each other and you were like, you know what? I have black hair. But then it was making you laugh. While it was making you laugh, she was reacting. So you brought out performances from one another. You see the magic of listening? It's just basically you provoked it. It didn't matter. I mean, now, if I would have taped this and showed something like that, was brilliant. Because you were being truthful, right? Same with acting, right? If you've got a scene, right, and with your partner, if you just listen to the other person, instead of thinking, yeah, I know this. This is what Govinda does. And everyone know Govinda? Yeah, this is what Govinda does in Bollywood. He comes to the set, he's always late, and he goes, ye karna hai, theek hai, chalo, set light lagao. And he won't care what's saying there, because he's Govinda, right? So he knows what's about to be said. So he'll be like, so he brought his action, said, yeah, I'm isko aise chhodunga. And then Devan Dhawan, the director, is directing. He's like, cut. Anyway, and I'm telling you, I've been on this set. And Govinda would just like belt it out. And the other actor, he's already like arranged it with him. And it's completely on listening. Because they do these small jokes and antics, like the Johnny Liver type of acting, you know, all that jazz. And it works totally because they're listening to one another. And so many times it's like Preeti Zinta was here in that railway station, Central Grand Station, whatever, in New York. She was here. Saf was just looking like, okay, what's going on here? Like, Shah Rukh Khan's literally killing me in this film with this like amazing scene that he's doing. And he's got the diary out, and he's like, ये तुमसे इतना प्यार करता है, blah blah blah. इसने ये सब लिखा हुआ है. And then we have a close-up of the diary, and nothing's written there, right? And all the girls are like, oh, because he's dying of cancer, and this is actually he loves her, and he's sacrificing his love. And I'm like in the cinema going, oh, for fuck's sake, I just want to get out of here. I don't know, I'm not didn't. I was like, fine. Anyway, enough about my CCA. But the point is, that's what happened, right? You react. So Preeti Zinta is listening. She can't see, right? Because she doesn't want to see his face. So purely on the listening basis, right? She's reacting. Saif Ali Khan is there and saying, okay, I didn't write that, and this guy is just like saying stuff. So he's reacting because he's listening. My point is, and those are the moments that you think, oh, it's actually rocking. It makes sense. Because when you're not looking at what Shah Rukh Khan's saying, but you're also saying what Preeti Zinta's feeling. Because eventually, when Saif is going to ask her to marry her, this has been the build-up. Which means what? That listening is important. And that's what it's all about. It's about listening as well. That's one method. Another acting method is method acting, right? Which Stanislavski actually brought to America, and Lee Strasberg then took over and then mixed it up slightly. It's basically about your own emotions. Now, I think it's quite fucked up if a director comes up and says, can you just imagine your own mother dead, because this is your, not real mother, but the real mother, and you have to act now, and you have to come in, and she's dead. And you go to her, you do your normal thing, and she's on this like moving chair, and suddenly it's not moving, so you go up to her, and then as in most Bollywood film happens, you just check her neck, or just put your fingers and say, okay, she's dead. Anyway, or you just call her name. My point is, method acting is like using your own emotions, things you have gone through in the past. It's like, how many people have been to funerals? Oh, it's really sad, but I'm sorry. Everyone has, right? You see, like, we might be there out of respect, but the person who's lost their brother, son, daughter, whatever, if you just see the state, and at that moment, for 1 second, it really hits you. It really, like, gets to you. Even if it's your neighbor, person you don't know, just generally. And that's why us humans have the most strongest emotions ever, because we feel. And if you're acting in a film, you want to be real. And the director will say, you know, just do that, And that's why method acting took the life of Marilyn Monroe, because she was so screwed up because she was doing method acting with every film and everything else, and it just takes you. So what Sanford Meisner said, he said, you know, just do it on listening. So basically people do different shit to themselves, and different methods, pardon my French, but you know, I mean, with me when I act, I actually sometimes do imagine this stuff because I want to be real, but I don't go to that extent because it will kill me. But in certain moments, I mean, let's just say, who's been sacked ever in the job? Anyone?
No.
Who's actually thrown a fit at work and then walked off? Good, I'm proud. Okay, my point is, now, at that moment, I'm sure, for that split second, it was probably the most satisfactory thing that you ever did. Yeah? It was, because you felt right. Now, just imagine that if that was being taped, you would get an Oscar. My point is that it's about being truthful, right? And that's what. So we teach like different methods. What applies to you eventually would be. So when you have these methods now, you take them to your scene study. We do this class called improvisation. This is a favorite of all my students, because that means they get complete freedom, and I can't tell them what they're doing right or wrong. Because when you're improvising, there's no right or wrong. Now, if I put you on a chair here, right, and I just give you one line. I'm saying you're sitting in a bus, and this girl's going to come start talking to you, right? That's it. I'm going to get another girl to be outside. I'm going to say, this is a girl who was snogging your boyfriend in the club, and you saw them from a distance. Now, you don't know what she knows. So when she comes in, she's going to give you all the venom and like give you dirty and probably try to give you a hard time. Now, you're trying to be nice. But you'll have to improvise it. You can't say, oh, I don't know what's going on. But you're going to react completely on that person's reaction. That's going to provoke you. So the whole method is that it works, because you'd be like being Miss Nice, you haven't done anything wrong, but she already came with a mission statement, a subtext, that you're a bitch. So now whatever you do in that scene, it's completely magic, because because none of you know what's actually going on, but you're reacting on each other completely, and that's what it is. Another class we do is voice and movement. Is that how you can use your voice and your body. Now it's two different things. Like some actors are very like loud, like in theatre. I love Michael Caine. His acting book is my favourite book ever, and he goes that sometimes you don't need to be loud and da da da. If you are believable and you're very like content and you say your line with like great delivery, even probably in the lowest of voices, you are most effective. Have you ever seen Michael Caine perform in Batman movies? Like every time he comes up, he leaves a mark, no matter what he does, how small his roles are. It's like Onburi in Indian films. He always leaves a mark, no matter what you do. You just, and I'm not talking about his face here, okay? I'm talking about his acting here. But he always leaves a mark, okay? It's the truth, okay? He does that. Another class, so improvisation is like loved by the students, but we do that bang in the middle so people can actually use the methods that they actually learn and apply there. And it's like a lot of giggles, and then like students just want to do that till the course finishes, and I'm like, no, but it's great fun. Seriously, people just love that. Then we have film craft, which actually teaches you about films. I mix it with actor and the lens. Because it's an acting and film course, we also tell you like how to present in front of the camera, what to do, how that fear of the lens. I always find this like amazing for Brits Bollywood, the show that we do for Z. It's like we go outside and all these people like they run away from the camera like they don't want to be in it, but at the same time they've got this fear because right now they're thinking of too many things. They're thinking, am I looking alright? Number one. Secondly, or what am I going to say, or anything else? But it's pretty simple. Seriously, it's once you can overcome that. That's why we have a show reel. Has anyone been to our Facebook group page? Did you see a show reel?
Yes.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah. It's Ash's show reel. Hey, come in, please. Let's have you on board. Ash was the part of our first batch. She did our first batch. She also does. Ash, why don't you do Laja for us? Has anyone seen this film called Laja with Manisha Koiraala? I love this film. Has anyone seen it?